and talent, each chosen with an eye for emotional truth rather than just marquee value. Jeffrey Hunter, whose piercing blue eyes and understated presence were known from The Searchers, is cast as Jesus. There's something almost otherworldly about Hunter's performance, serene, vulnerable, and powerful all at once. He brings a sense of quiet determination, a gentle authority, and a youthfulness that sets him apart from the often older, more stoic portrayals of Christ on screen. The supporting cast is a tapestry of memorable performances. Siobhan McKenna shines as Mary, bringing warmth and humanity to the role of Christ's mother. Robert Ryan's John the Baptist is a force of nature, wild and untamed, while Rip Torn's Judas is haunted and complex, a man tormented by doubt and regret. Herb Hatfield as Pontius Pilate and Frank Thring as Herod add gravitas and moral ambiguity, refusing to play their characters as simple villains. Every performance feels deliberate, layered, and part of a greater whole. And then there's the voice. Orson Welles, the legend himself, lends his iconic narration to the film, and the very first words he speaks seem to transport you to another time and place. Welles's narration isn't just a storytelling device. It's a summoning. He draws you in, setting the stage for a story that will span the deepest lows and highest highs of the human condition. No film of this scale comes together without immense ambition, and The King of Kings was no exception. The budget, estimated at around $7 million in 1961, a fortune in its day, was spent with a singular vision: to make every frame as authentic, immersive, and visually stunning as possible. The production designers created a breathtaking reimagining of ancient Judea, drawing on research, historical records, and the epic tradition of Hollywood's golden age. Set after set was painstakingly constructed at MGM Studios in Spain, a move that allowed for vast, panoramic landscapes and a scale that few other films could match. The ancient city of Jerusalem was rebuilt in all its dusty glory. The hills, the temples, the palaces, they all come alive in a way that makes you feel like you stepped back in time. But here's something that not everyone knows. Filming in Spain, rather than California or Italy as was common, wasn't just a budgetary decision. Spain in the early 60s, under Franco, offered sweeping, untouched landscapes and extras willing to fill the enormous crowd scenes. Thousands of local residents appear as background players, peasants, soldiers, worshippers, giving the film an epic realism that digital trickery still can't replicate. Those processions, those marches, those teeming masses, they feel real because they are real. Of course, epic sets and sprawling casts are nothing without a score to match. Enter Miklos Rasha, the Hungarian-born composer whose music had already powered Ben-Hur to Oscar glory. Rasha's score for The King of Kings is sweeping, majestic, and intimate in all the right places. It's one of those rare soundtracks that isn't just background. It becomes a heartbeat of the film, elevating each moment: triumph, agony, sacrifice, and resurrection. Listen closely, and you'll hear a composer at the peak of his powers, channeling both the divine and the deeply human through every note. The cinematography, by Manuel Berenguer, is a thing of beauty. The film unfolds in glorious technicolor, capturing the vibrant palette of the Holy Land, from sun-bleached deserts to the emerald hues of the Garden of Gethsemane. The camera lingers, not just on spectacle, but on faces, on eyes, on hands, on the little moments that reveal character and conflict. There's a painterly quality to the lighting, the framing, the use of shadow and sun. Every image feels designed to linger in the mind, and the transitions between scenes have a poetry of their own. And the film's visual power doesn't just rest in its beauty. It's in the contrasts. Ray is a director who knows how to use darkness, how to play with the tension between light and shadow, between hope and despair. The scenes of the crucifixion, for example, are not just grand. They are deeply personal, brutal, and emotionally raw. You feel every blow, every cry, every moment of doubt and faith. It's these sequences that set The King of Kings apart from other epics of its era. There's a modern psychological weight to the storytelling, a willingness to show the agony behind the ecstasy, the loneliness behind the crowds. And yet, for all its ambition, The King of Kings was not immune to controversy. In its day, the decision to cast Jeffrey Hunter, a young, strikingly handsome actor, as Jesus, sparked debate and, in some circles, outrage. There were protests from religious groups who felt that the film took liberties with biblical texts or that its portrayal of Christ was too soft, too romantic. The film's release coincided with a period of cultural change, as faith and cinema collided in the public square. But sometimes controversy is a sign that a film is pushing boundaries, daring to reimagine, to invite debate instead of delivering comfortable answers. Financially, the film performed respectably, grossing about $13 million worldwide, enough to cover its costs and cement its place as one of the more successful epics of the early 1960s. It wasn't a runaway hit that Ben-Hur or The Ten Commandments became, but it carved out its own legacy, finding devoted audiences in the decades that followed, especially among those who grew up watching it every Easter on television. Awards and formal accolades were, surprisingly, not abundant for the King of Kings. The Oscars, in particular, passed it by, perhaps in part because the Academy was still swooning over the triumphs of Ben-Hur and Spartacus. Yet among critics, filmmakers, and movie lovers, the film's reputation grew steadily. Its enduring impact lies not in statuettes, but in its ability to move, to provoke, to inspire. Directors like Martin Scorsese and Mel Gibson have cited it as an influence on their own portrayals of Christ and biblical storytelling, seeing in Nicholas Ray's